time. Let's talk about it with R.C. Blakes. Let's talk about it.
Let's look at this thing. I had a question that was posed to me the other night as I was on Facebook, and the question was basically, you know, and I never had this question asked of me. How do you recover when you've been cheated on? How do you recover when you've been cheated on? I don't think I have ever really had that question, at least not posed to me in a public setting. Definitely, I think not on social media. And I gave some answers off, you know, the top of my head and out of my own experiences. Not that I think I've ever had to really recover from being cheated on. But a few things that come to mind as I was sitting here tonight at the table and just kind of jotting some stuff down. You've been cheated on. The tendency is, now listen to this very carefully. The tendency is to want to rush, you know, to save the relationship. The tendency is to want to rush to save the relationship. And you know, you panic because you think somebody's getting ready to take your man, take your woman. Maybe they've already taken them. And so the first mindset is to rush to try to save the relationship. But number one, I believe, is that you must do soul repair. When you've been cheated on, the first thing is not to stop and rush to try to save the relationship. The first order of the day is to do soul repair. It's not the salvation of the relationship. When a person has cheated on you, you have to understand this, there is an impact that is made on your sense of self-worth. Because when we invest ourselves into relationships, when we marry people or we have significant others and it's serious, we unconsciously invest our self-worth into their care. So it doesn't matter how strong of a man I am. It doesn't matter how enlightened I am, how much I may know. If Lisa cheated on me, there would be a definite impact on my sense of self-worth. And the first thing would not be to rush to try to save the relationship. The first thing would be to rush to make certain that I repaired my soul, because your soul has holes in it and you're taking on water. When someone has cheated on you, there's an impact on your sense of self-worth. You have to rebuild your self-confidence, even if you don't realize it. And watch this. This is the most important thing. Your capacity to trust has been shattered. When someone cheats on you, the first order of the day is to repair your soul. A boat can have holes in it and you not even realize it. A ship, rather, can be taking on water and you not even realize it. And when you've been cheated on, your soul is taking on water and you're sinking and you don't even realize it. But in your mind, the first thing to do is to rush to try to save the relationship when you need to rush to save yourself. I said your sense of self-worth is impacted. You have to rebuild your self-confidence, and your capacity to trust has been shattered. Now, why are these things, good to see you, Prophetess Hagan. Why are these things more important than rushing to save the relationship? The reason these are the first things you must address is because, watch this, you will need to be healthy emotionally in these areas if you're with the person that cheated on you or not. If it works and you all stay together, you're still going to have high self-esteem. You're still going to have self-confidence, and you're still going to have to be able to trust. So if they stay or if they go, if it works or if it doesn't, you still have to be whole at the end of the day. So the first thing is to repair your soul. The Bible says in Proverbs 13 and 12, did I ask you all to invite anybody to come in here tonight? Invite them quickly, because I'm going to be trying to be quick. I want to go to Facebook as well. Proverbs 13:12 says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And what does that mean in plain language? When there's something that you really had your heart set on and it does not work out, it can poison your soul. When you've had your heart set on a relationship working, and you went down the aisle, you did all the thing, you did wifey, you did husband, you did everything you were supposed to do, and he or she went out and cheated on you, it poisons your soul. Going back to what I just said, your sense of self-worth is impacted, your self-confidence is impacted, and your capacity to trust is poisoned. So when someone cheats on you, the first thing to do is not to rush to try to save the relationship. That's their responsibility. The first thing for you to do is to get busy rescuing your own soul. Soul repair. There's only one place that we may go to heal the soul, and that's God. There's only one place that we may go to heal the soul, and that place is to God. Now, here's the irony. The irony is that God is usually the last one we turn to when relationships go bad. You go all over town, you talk to this one, you talk to that one, you beg your man, your woman to stay. You get in debt trying to make something work that's clearly not working. The last place we go when relationships go bad is to God. Now, why is that? I asked God. I mean, I'm just sitting here a few minutes ago writing this or putting this on my iPad. And why is that? And the Holy Spirit said the reason people turn to God lastly when their relationships go bad is because usually bad relationships were never sanctioned by God in the beginning. They didn't get his permission in the beginning, so they're ashamed to come to him for his help. Did y'all catch that? We go to God for everything else, but the last place we go when relationships go bad is to God. The last place we go to find heart healing is to God, because if we had listened to God, how can two walk? Amos 3:3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? If we had listened to God. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. If we had listened to God, we know that we would not have been in this position. So he's the last one we turn to because we did not turn to him in the beginning. So number one, how to bounce back from being cheated on, must do soul repair. And that, involves, I think this is a lesson that I will have to build out, but it definitely involves getting back to your core spiritually and emotionally. Now, and I guess some of these next steps really play into soul repair. Point number two. Didn't know how to hear from God then, but I got it now. I know that's right. Please swipe and invite. Thank you, Dr. Hightower. I love you. Man, I was thinking about you today. We'll give you a call this week. Number two, you must separate from a continual, unrepentant cheater. You got to separate. When you've been cheated on, and this is a person that does this constantly, This person is a chronic, habitual cheater. This person has made cheating a lifestyle. You got to get rid of them. Now, I know I'm going to get religious folk that are going to come against that and say, you're supposed to tell the people to hang in there and pray and hold on. I don't believe in that. Now, listen to me. And I'm moving forward in this lesson. But somebody that's cheating on you over and over and over and over and over again, I don't see it ain't nothing to pray about. Not in my opinion. It ain't nothing to pray about. What, were you just going to hang around until they bring HIV, AIDS to you? What you going to do? You just going to hang around until you get, what is that to pray about? What are we praying about? What are we waiting on? God has given us good common sense about some things. And if somebody's constantly cheating on you, your self-esteem is in the tank. You're the laughing stock of the entire community. You're getting in fights in Walmart because your man or your woman's women or men seeing you in the mall, in the Walmart laughing at you. What is there to pray about? When someone is continually cheating and they are unrepentant, you got to put space between you and them. Period. That's just my opinion. Now, y'all, this is my opinion. You don't have to take y'all don't have to accept my advice. I'm just telling you that nobody gonna just go out here cheating on me. I think I'm mature enough now. If something happened in my marriage, we could talk about it and work on it. But when you start coming around, with number 2, number 3, oh no, no, I'm out of here, homie. Holler at your boy. You know me. There are some people that stay locked into the cycle of being cheated on, and people continue to cheat on them because they know they can. People continue to cheat on them because they know they can. A habitual cheater, watch this, is sick, and they are poisonous to your well-being. They are sick and they are contagious. So not only are they addicted to cheating, now you become addicted to being the victim of a cheater. I don't know if this is resonating. But point number 2, you got to separate from a continual, unrepentant cheater. Matthew 7:6 says, "Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet, turn again and rend you, tear you apart. They will take your value and walk on it and then destroy you." Now, if that is not a text that speaks to the heart of what I'm saying, there are some people who do not deserve you. See, a lot of you are stuck in these cycles of these cheating relationships where you are the one being cheated on because you are addicted to being needed. See, everybody that needs you does not deserve you. And so you're casting your pearls to swine. And for women, watch this, for women, well, I guess it applies to men too, but more so women than men. Women are always stuck in this thing where you feel like you can change a man. Sometimes men feel like they can change certain kinds of women too. But women more than men feel like you can change him. I can change him. I can change him. If his mama couldn't change him, if the Lord hadn't changed him, if he's not changed himself, what makes you so powerful? You must separate from a continual and unrepentant cheater. I don't care how much it breaks your heart. I don't care how much you cry. I don't care about none of that. Somebody that's constantly cheating on you, you gotta put space between you and them because they are toxic. Is this resonating with anybody? Number 3. If a person cheats on you, but they're not a habitual cheater, but they've stepped out of character to cheat. You know, if it's a person that this is not their character, but somehow they've gotten caught up and they cheated on you. Now you need to ask the question, and you need answers to the question as to why. If a person, you know, like for instance, are y'all listening to me? For instance, generally, you know, I like to say that because people want to jump down my throat all the time. I don't take that very well. But generally, watch this. When men cheat, men don't even need a reason to cheat. A woman can be the best wife, the best lover, and all of that. If a man is immature and not grown up in his mind, he will cheat. But usually, generally, when a woman cheats, when a wife cheats, there is something that was missing in the marriage. That doesn't really have to be anything missing in a marriage for a man to cheat. That's just me. Dr. Hightower, am I wrong? Untamed desires. When a man is out of control, when you marry a man that's not mature, you can give him everything in the world and he'll still go out and sleep with somebody else and will love you. Come back and tell you, baby, I love you. I don't know why I did it. And you think he's just running game, and he's telling the truth. His passions are out of control. But when a woman cheats, generally, there is something that was significantly absent in the relationship. And the wise man doesn't get so caught up in what she did as much as he tries to figure out why did she do it. I'm at my breaking point. Because when a person steps out of character to cheat, the one cheated on needs to ask the question why. You must ask yourself and them, why did this happen? Because when a person steps out of character to cheat, something is missing. And though cheating is never the person who was cheated on's fault, sometimes the victim has been complicit. What do you mean by that? Sometimes cheating is the result of certain things that should be present in the marriage, but are absent. You know, I think, number one, sexual deprivation is I think it would be a prime example of a person that was cheated on really bearing some of the blame for that occasion. You know, for instance, you can't take and be married to a person and all things being equal and you're a healthy individual and deprive them of deprive their sexual needs and then act like you're amazed 2 years later after no marital sex when they come up in an affair or in a relationship outside of the marriage. 1 Corinthians 7:5 says, do not refuse and deprive and defraud each other. This is the Amplified Version. He says, do not refuse and deprive and defraud each other of your due marital rights, except perhaps by mutual consent for a time, so that you may devote yourselves unhindered to prayer. But afterwards resume marital relations, lest Satan tempt you to sin through your lack of restraint of sexual desire. So when a person steps out of character to cheat, the one cheated on needs to ask him or herself and the partner, why did this happen? And then if you look in 1 Corinthians 7:33 and 34, again in the Amplified it says, but the married man is anxious about worldly matters, how he may please his wife. And it goes on to talk about how the wife is anxious about how she may please her husband. Meaning what? There are needs in a marriage that should be met by the spouse. And when those needs are not met, that spouse who's failing to meet those needs, he or she is opening the door for temptation. Is this resonating with y'all? I don't know, I feel like y'all quiet tonight. Is this resonating with anybody? Again, I say it does not matter what's going on in my marriage. If Lisa's not meeting certain needs in my life, it's never her fault that I went outside of my marriage. Watch this. And if you're in a marital situation like that, where you feel like certain needs are not being met, here's another reality. Most of the time when a person is pulled out of character to go and cheat like that, they've not sat down to have the conversation with their spouse about what it is they need and what they feel like they're lacking. When I was a cheater, I cheated because I just had unrestrained, as Dr. Hightower put it, sexual passions. I was an immature man. That's why I cheated. Because I was a man that was out of control, and no woman should marry a man like that. We gotta wait for a man to grow up. But as I said, when you have issues in your marriage where you feel you're being deprived of certain things, you got to have the conversation. You got to have the conversation. You feel like you need more conversation with your spouse, if you need more affection, if you need more support, if you need more sex, you got to have that conversation. You can't let that stuff build up to the point that you go outside of your house, dishonor God, dishonor your marriage and your family, and risk your entire future and your wife's or your spouse's health. And then after all of this blows up, then you begin to have the conversation that you should have had 2 years ago. But when a person is pulled out of character and they do something like that, the wise spouse says, why? And you get out of your emotion for a minute and you sit down and you have that conversation, and the one that did the cheating got to answer. See, that's one thing y'all got to understand. When you mess up, you're going to have to be interrogated, and you're going to have to sit there and answer the questions. I don't care how many times they ask you. If you want your family and your marriage, you're going to have to sit there and answer those questions over and over and over again. All right, number four, you got to refocus your vision. You got to refocus your vision. Bouncing back from being cheated on, do soul repair, must separate from a continual unrepentant cheater, no doubt about it. If a person steps out of character to cheat, you got to know why. Because many times, cheating does not signify the absolute end of a relationship. You can recover from cheating, but we got to get to a place of honesty and understanding. Point number 4, you got to refocus your vision. Your vision, see, who were you? Where were you going? Where were you going before you met this individual, before you married this person? Who are you? Why did God design you? What is God's greater purpose for you? When a person has cheated on you and the foundation of that covenant relationship has been shaken, now you have to go back to your core. You have to revisit your vision. Your vision, when you begin to refocus on where God predestined you to go as an individual, your vision forces your soul to dislodge from the painful point in the past where you were hurt. See, because if you don't force yourself into refocusing your vision, you sit here and you will whine and you will ponder the pain over and over and over again, and you'll stay stuck. But when you refocus your vision, it forces you into a brighter future, and it dislodges you from that painful point in the past. helping anybody. Good to see you, bro, Felix. So you got to get back to your vision. You got to get back to your vision. I guess that's a part of soul healing as well. In Joshua 1, 7 and 8 in the Amplified, he says, only you be strong and very courageous, that you may do according to all the law which Moses, my servant, commanded you. Look what he says, turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. Then he says, this book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, that you may observe to do everything in it, for then you'll make your way prosperous and have very good success. Sometimes you have to just refocus. You got to step out of the moment and you got to step into your destiny. And then you begin to create good success. But if you stay stuck in this moment, it will baptize you in self-pity. It will rob you of everything positive. There are seasons that you gotta think selfishly. You got to get outside of we, and you got to get back to me. And if we are still to be, you have to be all you can be to come back together again and make this thing. You got to love yourself. Because clearly your spouse has not loved you sufficiently. So now you got to love yourself enough. And a part of that is getting back to your vision. Number 5, and then I'm out of here. Ponder the pain of the experience to harvest the wisdom of it. Ponder the pain of the experience to harvest the wisdom of it. When you've been cheated on, don't allow all of that experience to just go to waste with empty emotionalism. But think about everything you went through, why you went through it, and ponder that pain to harvest the wisdom. Wisdom is the consequence of pain endured and learned from. Pain is a teacher. Pain is a teacher. And when you've gone through something like that, once you've taken your breath, you've you got your second wind, ponder the pain and harvest the wisdom of the experience. Now watch this. When you don't ponder the pain and harvest the wisdom of the experience, you find yourself repeating the experience over and over again. This is how you go from cheetah to cheetah to cheetah to cheetah. I can have another you in a minute. He'll be here in a minute. Why? You ain't learned nothing. You ain't learned nothing. Ponder the pain, harvest the wisdom. Look what the Bible says in Psalm 119:71. It is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn your statutes. God, you've been telling me this all the time, but I had to go through this hell to realize what you have been saying to me the whole while. So it is good for me that I have been afflicted, that I might learn your statutes. So those are just some thoughts. Those are just some thoughts. Maybe we'll come back and we'll talk about the responsibilities of the cheater. If the one that's been cheated on desires to reconcile and salvage the relationship, what are the responsibilities of the cheater? That's a good one. I can definitely talk about that one.